All right, guys. It is time for an IEM Katowice qualifiers class cast. Now, this replays, I'm going to be casting this one and a bunch of other series from like the top 6 players from each server qualifier. These, of course, are the online server qualifiers, open to people from all over the world, but obviously the Asian ones here dominated by Koreans, the European ones a bit more dominated by Europeans, and so on and so forth. So this, of course, seeded people right into the round of 24 group stage. There is still a big offline qualifier, what we call the open bracket at IEM Katowice, which is starting in just a few days, where there's going to be like another 50 people fighting to fill out the other 12 spots in the round of 24. Once we get to the round of 24, we then over like 4 days, I believe it is, 2, 3, 4 days, some crazy amount of time, we then play round robin, 6-man groups. Every player plays a best of 3 or a best of 5 versus, I think it's a best of 3 versus each other. And then we see fucking them go to the top 12 and the top 8. It's just the best, biggest, most awesome tournament. I'm so excited for Katowice. We've been kind of surreptitiously calling it the BlizzCon tournament. That's like it's the real world finals in some regards, just because it's so much fun. The players get so many games to show how good they are. We've got every player who is a contender in StarCraft shows up, and it's just such a more lovely drawn out format where we really get to see who's the best. So this for me is just one of my absolute favorite tournaments. I'm so excited for it. We're going to cast some of these qualifier matches. They're about 2 weeks old now, I believe. But I finally figured out how to get the replays working. I was having some issues with it. We're going to cast them all day today, so they'll be filtering out over YouTube, I guess, over the next few days leading into Katowice, and I am looking forward just to see where the players' skill levels are at. We've had a real off-season, and there's a lot of mystery still. I mean, there's online cups going on. You see players like Cyril who are not playing. They're not showing a lot of their builds and a lot of their plays. You get a lot of players who we don't have as much info, and then you got other players like Cure, up-and-coming Korean Terran who, I mean, up-and-coming is a bit harsh, but realistically, I guess a player who's looking to really break out as one of the best in the world, and right now has one of the highest ratings, but it's almost all from online tournaments, and people aren't sure if he's going to perform. Of course, guys, here in this game, it is Innovation versus Rogue. It's a best of 3. It is the winners bracket semi-final. Innovation up against Rogue. It's a best of 3 to see who goes through to the grand finals of the Asian server qualifier. The Korean qualifiers, as we often call it for short, since no offense to the rest of Asia, but there's only really one country that dominates there, right? China does have time at the moment, which is nice, but as someone, you know, I as a competitor used to have to play every single Intel Extreme Masters qualifier, except for the first year or two of StarCraft 2, on the Korean server. So I was competing against these guys, and when I say competing, I mean bending over and trying to, you know, bite my lip and endure the pain because I got fucking plowed repeatedly. Some of my favorite memories was when I'd make them work for it. And I was like, did you see when I just made Zest work up a sweat kicking my ass? Hells yes. It was, you know, as someone who was a rather low-end pro gamer for many years, it was always fun being lumped in with the Korean region and just getting my shit kicked in repeatedly in qualifiers. These guys are the cream of the crop for a reason. And of course, this player up here, Innovation, one of the most storied players, one of the players who's been around for such a long time. He's going for a super fast 3rd command center off 1 gas, guys. So he's delayed his Hellion production quite a bit here. Mega greedy build into a Viking to start hunting down overlords, and this is just going to be into oh my god, I thought it was going to be an explosion of bio, but he's actually going fusion core. Now I would not be surprised if we see a 4th gas, and we're going to see a 2nd starport. This is the surprise double BC build, guys. We actually saw Massa, Maru Kim, aka Massa, the Canadian Korean Terran, use this to knock Scarlet out of a qualifier. Now that overlord does see that 3rd CC. So good info for Rogue, but double Evo is not what you want against this. I don't think Rogue has any idea. So what happened in that qualifier, I remember Scarlet was kind of kicking Massa's ass. This was late last year, and Massa was just throwing out crazy gambles, and he did this build where it was like the fastest 3 command center, greediest build of all time, and then you just teleport 2 BCs in and launch into some full-on psychopath shit. Now, with the fast 4th gas, I thought it was the same, but no 2nd starport, so never mind, guys. I guess we're just going to see that to get up the mech transition. I think it's going to be battle mech, I would imagine. really was expecting the surprise second BC, but I guess I don't remember that build as well as I thought. I just remember that game being so comical because the two BCs teleported in. Scarlet, I don't even know if she typed GG. She just left the game instantly. She was like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Screw you and your two surprise BCs. Guys, those Zerglings did not hold the line. The Hellions very weak. They got to focus the red Hellions, but they're... Oh, still two Hellions alive. They're going to get a few more. A few more. They line up. Oh, Rogue takes 7 worker losses. Oh, I love the transfuse on the drone there. Very cute. How many queens? We got 7 queens. No spore crawlers. The BC's going to be out, and I'd love that to just teleport right in like here or here, because those queens, especially if they move back out towards the third base, are not in position. What Rogue does have going, and I love the Viking land to Sniper Tumor, is good creep spread, good map control, and now a small Zergling run by. The Hellions will deal with that just fine, you know, cleaning that up. What is that BC going to do, though? That's my question. Are we going to... You're not just going to... Did that Zergling see it? Still no spores. I don't think he knows. Come on, you're gonna fly across? Too conservative. Dive. Be a crazy motherfucker, man. Get in there. So Inno's gonna play real conservative. He's making Yamato. He's gonna make a second and then a third battlecruiser. We're gonna see Magfield and Cyclone starting up. Are we? No, tanks. Oh, it's not gonna be. Okay, it's gonna be BC into traditional mech, guys. We're gonna see some trad mech this game, which is not a bad way of playing it. Double armory going down. It's fucking hard to finish the game on World of Sleepers as a Terran player. There's a reason you don't see people playing Bio here very much. It's because it's literally impossible to get across such a big map. Creep spread especially appears to be overpowered on this. Yamato's still not done. That BC has to back off. What's the reaction here? Still no Spire. There we go. Spire drops in the main. Do we have a Baneling Nest? No Baneling Nest. So it's just Roach Warren, Evo Chambers for now. Rogue's got a pretty sick kind of tech setup now. That BC goes way too deep there. Oof, Yamato's still not done. That BC taking way too much damage there. Lings, oh, they get a surround on 2 tanks. Ooh, that's a huge snipe off. Oh, that sucks. That's real bad, man. Blue Flame is now on the way here. Good pullback and transfuse on that queen. Inno's BC is not really doing much, man. On the plus side, of course, his economy is just fine. At 64 SCVs, only 69 drones. Rogue would love to have this base fully saturated. We're going to see +2 carapace and +1 range starting up. I imagine that Roach Speed and Corruptors is going to be a timing attack. So what you normally aim for to shut down a BC mech build, and part of the reason why tank production is so consistent for Inno is because he knows this, is big Roach Ravager Corruptor timings are absolutely, they were in vogue, and they actually started to shut down these BC styles. The Terran players have learnt that they just need to keep their tank count good and they should be okay. Drops his scan. What does he see with it? He doesn't see that much. He'd love to see what was popping out of the eggs. That's really what he was digging for. He wanted to see, are there roaches popping out? Are there corruptors? Are you still droning? No real information gained with that. And yeah, we are going to see exactly what goes on here. All right, Hellion's going to come in. Lings, looking for a big surround, but yeah, that's Blue Flame Hellions. You got to be careful. Innovation, big Blue Flame boy, but does have to pull back for now. Another scan goes down. He's like, what are you building? What are you building? He's not going to see them pop. He's not going to see him pop. The scan, oh, wait. All right, guys, we're going to do a quick little production thing, what we call a quick rewind. I really want to know if he saw that and if there's an inbuilt reaction. We rewound 10 seconds. Hey, the advantage of casting off replays. And he's not looking at the end, is he? Yeah, he doesn't catch the Corruptors popping out. So we are going to see a Thor building. That was Innovation's camera. How many factories? We're up to 5 factories. The starport swapping to the reactor. A couple Thors being added in here. 4th command center is on the way. Man, this creep spread. I mean, that's it. Rogue knows the power of creep spread. He's going Roach Ravager Corruptor. And I mean, this is a good composition for stopping the Terran for killing you. It just doesn't scale well in the super long term unless the Terran overcommits to a push. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still able to do a fudge ton of different things. The Baneling Nest, which I was surprised was so delayed, is finally coming down. You need Speed Banes to help clear Hellbats and Hellions. And if you catch the tanks in a clump, even there, Banelings are actually effective. Maybe not individually cost efficiently, but their ability to simply wipe out a clump of enemy units whilst costing only half a supply. Only half a supply, each Baneling. That's their power. Their power is they boost the overall strength of a maxed out army, and that's what gives them their strength. Flyer attacks upgrades are being added. We still haven't seen an infestation pit. 85 drones going up to a little bit more. Overlord wants to do a poo, but he's a bit of a nervous shitter and can't do it while the Vikings watching. 91 drones, 90 drones, infestation pit, spine, spores at every base. Up on 5 bases, I'd love to see a 6th down here where you get double gases. Gas will be somewhat of a limiting factor. Lots of Ravagers morphing. Bane speed is finally on the way, along with +2 melee and +2 range. Scan sees that there is still no hive, sees the infestation pit is halfway done. This tells Inno, just turtle on 5 base for now. You've got a good economy. If you can slide some Hellion run-bys in, that'll be great. But for the most part, Sensor Tower's tanks spread all over. Look at these tank positions. I love these little nooks. These are some of my favorite places to put siege tanks on this map. It just feels good. Technically, if they have high ground vision, they can run up and bile them quite easily. But they are very nice. Turrets, planetary, tanks. This base up here completely undefended right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Roach Ravager Corruptor comes in, does a few biles, but most importantly, the command center! It does barely finish and it does lift off in time. The SCV says, hey, I've opened the door. Come down into my natural. The Hellions are going to go deal with that, but the Lings are going to get in. Uh-oh. They're going to get right into that main base and the natural. That's going to be at least another 10 dead SCVs, I think. Those Hellions getting cleaned up. These Lings not microed too. I'd love to see a target fire on the fusion core. I think that would be quite nice. In the end, only 7 workers lost, and he was up at 85, but just a little bit of chaos and a bit of delay. This just pulls Innovation home. I really feel this is the point where we wanted to see Innovation branching Blue Flame run-bys down the edges of the map, trying to get to that next step. He's got his 2-2 upgrades coming in. He is at a gigantic army. I think Inno may need to go for a big push here, unless he's confident playing endgame, which, I mean, what does that look like? At the moment, people go through different phases. I still think Ghosts are one of the best units, but we often see people say play just BC Lib, just Thor Lib, or just Ghost Lib. We very rarely see kind of a crossover between those. Terran players feel it's too hard to get up to it. And I mean, with the Thor count just steadily growing, we're at 4 going up to 5. It feels like we might see the Lib transition at some point. We haven't seen any indication of it just yet, though. That floating barracks on the north going to get slaughtered. Triple macro hatch in the main. 42 lava ready for the remax. Oh, shit. Oh, dude. Oh, no. Thank you very much for the support, by the way, guys. I'll try to turn off the alert sounds and just play them in between the ad breaks. But I do want to say a big thanks to Fussed Up there for the 6-month resub. Thank you, mate. Half a year. Thanks for the awesome, your constant awesome. Did you say I have awesome? Thank you, dude. I don't think I have a lot of awesome. But I appreciate you thinking that I do. Thank you, mate. Starting to push the creep back a little. Get the fuck out! +2 flyer attack is done. More tanks building. Rebuilding a barracks so that it can build more factories hilariously. At 8 factories right now, it's going to be 2 reactors, 6 tech, 3 reactors, 5 tech labs. Okay, wow. The ability to build mines, Hellions very quickly. Exceptionally powerful. These Hellions aren't going to do ooh, maybe. I like bypassing the 3rd, going for the natural. I actually think that's the right call here. The Lings are trying to cut it off. The Hellions. Oh, lovely little block with those Zerglings. Nice micro from Rogue. Just a lovely little touch. And kind of borders those in. So mass orbital command to shore out the economy is going to go up to mass orbital. The idea there is you can start to lower this SCV count because you've got so many mules dropping. So orbital. Now on this map, I actually love a reinforcing planetary there or there. Usually right about here, so that you've got turrets, tanks, and a planetary. And then even if your opponent decides to do what I call the Sue/Dark style of verse mech, which apparently Rogue's a fan of, where you just make 400 Banelings, you just roll them into their planetaries and their bases repeatedly, and you take these god-awful trades, but it's okay because you've been at 90 workers the whole time, and anytime you push the Terran off a base, your income's steady, their income goes down, and if you can just keep them off like a 6th base and just keep crashing these inefficient armies into them, eventually you win. And that's the sort of shit where if you have a planetary with 3 tanks behind it, you go, get fucked, you can't actually beat me with that. That's really silly and inefficient. How dare you try to just YOLO me like you're a goddamn campaign mission. That's going to go down. Slow teleport. Yeah. You could just tell Inno wasn't watching this from the way the BCs were moving, and oh god. I mean, he took out a lot of Banelings on the front there. He does get those out. How many Banelings just died? Okay, so we saw him kind of come forward. I don't think he killed any tanks. 2 Thors are building. At most, he killed 2 or 3 Thors or 4 or 5 tanks. Lost about 50 Banelings there. Because I think he was at 60 and he's down to 20. So he lost about 30, 40 banelings, somewhere in that realm. A few Ravages might have gone down. Now, this is the expansion pattern you want as a Terran. You do not want to go for that base. It's just too hard to defend. So like I said, you really create a strong point here that's unbreakable. I've played a lot of late game TVZ on this map recently, in case you can't tell. And you expand up here, and if you can get the corner and then get a bit of mining off that base as well, you're in a pretty decent spot. Another BC goes down. That's actually very unfortunate. These BCs are an incredible kind of long-term harassment tool, creep clearing tool, and just an annoyance. They're just an added complication for the Zerg who has to keep supplying corruptors to deal with them. But with only one BC left, you don't actually care anymore. Rogue here is going to go for Neural Parasite. +3 attack is done. 333 Adrenal Glands, fantastic upgrades. OV Speed's done as well. 2 Hellions going to come in and do literally nothing. There's just too many spines, and the Bernie cars will die. So overall, great units lost tab for Inno. I like to go mass nuke at this point. And I was talking earlier about the Liberator swap. Guess what, guys? That is 2 3-star ports with reactors. Fusion cores on the way. Ship weapon upgrades finally coming in now that the 3-3 other upgrades are finished. Building armors here. Remember, I was talking about the planetary. I was talking about stupid Zerg attacks. I told you guys, they fucking love this shit. If there's one thing, like Zerg, honestly, gets such a boner for attacking here. There is a reason you always build a planetary here. It's because the Zerg will continually do that. And you just always leave a few tanks and a thick wall here. I often replace the depots after a wave like that with eBays because they're just very strong hit points for very little money. And I don't care about losing them. You've got to re-wall that, you know. Otherwise, this could be where you lose the game later on if you're caught out of position. Obviously, a massive Thor count now, guys. 8 Thors. Now, Thors are a fantastic unit. People say, how do I beat mass Thor? Neural Parasite cucks them. Blinding Cloud cucks them. They're immobile. They're weak against Zerglings and Locusts as well. Not that people often swap to Locusts this late in the game because they're too supply inefficient. So you need tanks behind them to shoot down the Infestors quickly. And you need to make sure you don't get just wrecked by Blinding Cloud and Neural Parasite. The Ravager Bane getting a sick fight here. Those tanks actually do take out a lot of the Ravagers though. So I think still a good trade there for innovation. I hate this base, though. I think this is a terrible decision. I mean, he's deciding I can defend this ramp easier than going up here. I love pushing in here because you start to encroach on their bases. Innovation's clearly a little bit better at StarCraft than me. So obviously we're going to respect his decision and say, maybe he knows more about StarCraft than you, pig. 2% maybe. Maybe 2% better than me, to be fair. Nidus Worm going in the back. Very nicely done here. I kind of stand by what I said, though, because I think your middle opens up as well. I actually think if Rogue uses his movement correctly, I really do think Inno's going to get punished for taking this bottom base. Because I think he's spread his army on these opposite fronts that are a little bit too far. And I think it does open up some weakness. But you know what? There's a Broodlord transition. Broodlord's not meant to be very strong up against Thors here. But, oh my god, the Thors are going to get wrecked by the Banes and the Lings. There's not enough. The tank's all unsieged because of the Broodlords. Inno is getting jumped on. Rogue's like, hey man, where'd your anti-air go? Killed all your Thors. He just sensed opportunity there. He's had so much map control and vision all game. Once the Thors are gone, Inno has to give up this area. Oh, that's rough. But, you know, once again, I really do feel that base is just so exposed and you really should have reinforced that wall instead. Nothing actually came out of the Nidus Worms, funnily enough. They were purely a distraction and they seem to have worked. He says, let's throw up some Niduses, make you split your army a little bit. Come in. The Broodlord's there. The tank's unsieged. The moment the tank's unsieged, just Banelings rolled into it. Ravagers rolled in. The Thors got wrecked. And that was very, very unfortunate. Vikings are coming out now. How many Corruptors have we got? We got 7 Corruptors on the map. Ravagers are trying to zone out the Vikings because he has literally nothing that shoots up right now. Hellions are going to take out some dudes up there. I mean, I think, is it enough damage? Remember, guys, Vikings have 135 hit points, and they're up an upgrade. They've got +3 armor versus and they've got 3-1 as opposed to just +3. The Thors coming forward. The Banelings are not efficient in of themselves, but if they can just do enough damage and use the kind of buffer for the Ravagers, once the Thors are gone, like the Broodlords are going to kill so much on the ground. And even though the anti-air's gone for Rogue, he doesn't care. He's sacrificing these. He says, let's just kill what we can. I'd actually like him to focus the tanks rather than the Broodlords there. He does lose everything in the end there. Innovation, you know, he's still ahead in the units lost, but remember what I was talking about. If you can keep the Terran off a 6th base, right now he's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He lost his 6th and his 7th temporarily. And the bank, there is a difference. Don't get me wrong. He's remaxing quickly. He's got enough orbitals to drop mules like crazy. He's struggling, though, to deal with these friggin' Nidus ones. What is, there's an Overlord. I was like, what is giving Rogue Vision up there? Oh, barely saves the orbital. But guess what, guys? Crackling's in the main. Rogue is a master of this sort of stuff. Inno, change your rally point. Inno's struggling really hard because he's got to keep so much attention to make sure his army doesn't get jumped on. It's not a proper army. He's got too many Vikings now. He's got 13 Vikings. Guess what, guys? 10 Ultras with anabolic synthesis are about to be on the map. A few add-ons go down, a few depots. It's not the end of the world, but it's more chaos. And guess what? Rogue's got the map vision. He says, fuck you. You're in the bottom right. You're worried about that? And he shifts to the other side of the map. The Banelings go for the planetary. The Ultras go for the tanks. A brilliant maneuver here. And whilst it's inefficient individually, remember, Innovation's running out of bases. He's realizing that he's getting his butt kicked right now. He says, okay, I got to move down here and do something. But there's already Ultras and Banes there. It's actually, I don't think you can take out this base. And now you're offering an army on creep. Those Ultras, unfortunately going forward, not a good move. These Ultras also actually getting a little bit ahead of themselves. That Thor says, get the fuck out of my base, mate. Lings and Banes are going to come forward. And guys, remember what I was saying? Lings wreck Thors. If the Thors don't have the proper units guarding them, 5 Thors go down to just a few Zerglings. That's really bad. The Vikings are going, shit. We don't have anything to do. This is the point where you actually need to just A-move your Vikings through your opponent's bases and hunt for the Overlords. Like, I don't know where all the Overlords are, but that's what you need to find. Like, you need to just go kill something with those Vikings because they are dead weight in the air. And this all comes back to Rogue clearing the first set of Thors. Once the Thors were there, Innovation went into panic mode. He had to build Vikings to counter the Broodlords, swap back into ground from Rogue, use the mobility, stretch too thin on both sides is Innovation. There's a reason as well. Like I was saying, you want to not just have a planetary on the base, you want to have another planetary in front of it. And if you have 2 planetaries plus a few libs is also better than tanks. The problem with the tanks is that they can get taken out a little bit better. But, did not have a chance to get those libs set up on those bases. And, yeah, lib turret planetary is like the best static defense you can set up as the Terran player. That way it's very hard for the other player to break in. But, Inno wasn't quite able to get to that perfect defense. He wasn't quite able to get up to the range libs guarding against the Ravagers and whatnot. And now we see Lings even finding a weak point here in the middle. I was pointing this one out earlier, that as you get stretched on the flanks of the map, that can be dangerous. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Innovation is a man who can take a punch. He's not dead, but look at that. Overlord poops to deny the base. Lings are going to go up there and clear the refinery. He's still got mining. He's still able to drop mules. He's still got a decent army. So it's all going to come down to this one push kind of has to win. The gas is gone. He's scanned and seen the infestors. How many tanks have we got in here? 12 tanks, but none of them are here. So it's all about the libs dealing with the infestors. No scan, no scan. Oh, where's the scan? Ah, fuck. He's done. Yeah, he's now because without those, okay, the tanks are coming down, but he loses every lib to the queens. The tanks do siege. They keep the Thors alive, but that was a lovely neural. He just stole all the liberators. The liberators and the tanks, like I said, those are the anti-fucking infestor, and without those, you're going to lose all your Thors and be in big trouble. There's a ton of Hellbats and Vikings in this army, guys. These are low-value units. It's a scary supply. It's not that scary an army for Inno. He knows this. He's waiting for more libs. He's trying to get his +3 ship weapons. This base still denied. His gas mining is kind of shit right now. It's been disrupted heavily. He's got 1 gas mining there. That needs to get mining again. Did he just kill another drone? Where did that one go down? Because I saw the 18 before. I think it was a Liberator. Wait, where the fuck are these drones dying, guys? Am I blind? Am I actually blind? I swear I'm blind. There must have been a Liberator. All right, note to self. Go back to the 23-minute mark and try to figure out what was happening. Big army coming forward. Oh, man. There are some tanks in the back. If he can focus fire on these infestors, maybe. Ooh, more Hellions coming on top of them as well, but the Ultras are doing big damage. That's, oh, the Neurals, man. They're very nice Neurals here. This fight is so fucking crazy right now. I think Itto can barely hang on. The Vikings are on the ground as well. The libs fly away. The Thor holds. He keeps the corner base. If he can get that gas mining going, just maybe these fights are actually doable here. And oh my god, you know what? If he gets this base, that's great. What are we remaxing on? Ultraling base. Still building Ultras. I really do feel Vipers are a missing link here, as well as, some of these other units that might be used here. It's a swap between Ultraling Bane And Broodlords seem to be Rogue's answer to mech, but you know what? The base is gone. A bunch of drones are gone. Corruptors try to take a Wii on the planetary. A mass repair, a turret, and a Thor say, get out of here. Those Corruptors take big damage. And I'd love to see this Army of Innovation retreat right now. He doesn't have many libs. The Hellbat's coming forward. He's going to try to click on the Banelings. Oh my god. And he gets almost all of them. Woo! Well done, well done. More Hellbats coming forward here. Yeah, I mean, the Ultras can't go in just a few at a time. Rogue is actually being held on. I can't believe Inno won this. This is crazy. You big dick boy. Fucking hangs on. Hangs on. Punch after punch. What was doing that damage? Let's go check that one. Game 1 goes to Inno, guys. I really want to see. I'm like looking around. I'm like, is there a lib? What is it? What gets in there? What ends up... Wait. 10 drones just died. Where did 10 drones just die? Am I blind? Am I blind? Oh, it's down here. Oh, it's this base. I'm so blind. I was looking at everywhere else on the map except this base. I didn't realize this had drones on it yet. Okay. That's where 10 drones die to start. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. For some reason my monitor's tilted a little bit. Let's tilt that back just a little bit towards me. Okay. And then there was more in a minute, right? Alright, as soon as we see that workers... Where? Was that just... Oh, they were long distance mining, so a few workers just died down there to the army. Okay. Wait. Ah, here it is. Liberator there, liberator there. Very nice. So even though this liberator gets shot down... It kills like 8, 9, 10, 9 workers, and that one gets 11 plus like eggs and stuff. Okay, very nice double lib on these top 2 bases. That was a pretty sexy move from Inno. He just managed to hang on, man. I really thought after that first jump on there, I thought Rogue had just done too much of an imprint. I guess he just overextended with that Infestor engage though, right? Because his economy wasn't looking too great. I think maybe he should have done more efforts to try to hit the natural. I think the natural in the main production is definitely a weak spot. And I would love to see some more Nidus Worms in the back for sure. And more kind of jumping on the rally. Like right there, if he just kept running north, he just kills these tanks pretty easily with his Ultras. But this fight, I think, was just sloppy. This was pretty sloppy for Rogue. I mean... I think he thought he was catching Inno with like too many tanks. He's like, oh, your tanks are up here? So he saw those tanks and immediately said, oh, I'll go south and take out your bases because you're sieged in the wrong position. And he didn't realize quite how big this army is. There's enough Hellbats spread throughout. The Lings don't do much. And the Infestors, you know, they get a few steals on these tanks. But then the Ultras are trapped in a choke. And it's like, well, what's actually dealing damage for you here? 2 tanks that you stole, one of which is now dead. The Ultras just go down in that choke and steals another tank, is desperately trying to fight. But then once all the Infestors are gone, it's like, oh no. You know, those Infestors were very scary units in other positions. Really well played by both players there. I want to go back as well to that first bust from Rogue with the Broodlords. Because that was such a sick fight, right? It was like, yeah, it was like right here. Yeah, these Broodlords are going to morph. It's about 17 minutes or so. So the Corruptors go down there. He's going to morph his Broods. Just by surprise. He's had Corruptors all game long. It's really hard for Inno. Like, look at this. Inno's like, what are you doing right now, buddy? I was going to scan. And he's like, where the fuck is your army? And what are you building? Because he wants to know what the Zerg's swapping into in between these little trades. And he's not able to find it out. And this was just... really unfortunate. So let's go to Inno's camera as this happens. Okay, so we're going to slow it down. We're not even on normal game speed. Because he's scanned. He's like, oh, there's some units there. Okay, get my Thors here. Repair a little bit. These Nidus Worms are coming up. And he's like, oh, fuck. So he's looking at his rally point. And he goes, okay, A-move those tanks and Thors. Send a Hellion counter. Oh, what the fuck is happening? Oh, there's Broodlords. Shit, unsiege the tanks. Oh, what? There's Ravagers on me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God. And then he's just like, oh, shit. So this was such a scary moment for Inno. Having to build all those Vikings, right? Was just so scary. Now, I think Rogue either could have pulled back from here, but he was saying, no, I want to do as much damage as I can, which is totally justifiable. But he could have pulled back and played a bit more of a contained side. He's got so much bank, I think continuing to push was the correct call. If we look at it, Rogue is missing a gas. And he should be trying to get those gases mining as well. Yeah. Because that's this map. There's so many of these shitty 1-gas bases. So you don't actually have as much gas as you might think. That being said, he's like making more Banes here. So there's something to be said for should he have been rallying Corruptors to guard the Broodlords? I don't really think so, because I think if you end up on just mass Corrupted Broodlord, it's like, well, the Viking Thor is suddenly a good composition, right, for Inno. This does get crazy inefficient at a certain point, though, right? Yeah. So at a certain point, this starts to be a lot less efficient. Like, I was like, oh, he's going to do way more damage, and he does trade here. And I don't think it's the end of the world, right? Even when he loses these broods, it's still, like, close enough in units lost that that's probably good for him. And then he swaps into Ultra Bane, which is definitely like, whoa, that's crazy. And I think he's popping Lings out here, which is awesome. I think if he could have done even more of that, that would have been great. But now he's going to crash through the top. And this looked like a decent trade, even though those tanks did get some fantastic shots. I often, when I'm trying to go for this sort of bust, I try to come in with a Viper, a single Viper, and just drop 2 Blinding Clouds. Because often that'll get rid of it. Or if they've got the 2 libs, abduct both libs to pull them out of siege mode, and then just, if the Viper gets out as well, that's great. If it dies on the turrets, that's fine. It's one of these things that's very hard to consciously add in a single spellcaster for what is essentially a big run by, but it actually is so powerful. Nonetheless, because the problem here is just how inefficient these Banelings are. Look at this last tank volley on these Banelings. So they click on the planetary, then another tank volley goes down. He's lost 35 Banes. It's not great efficiency, right? But if he keeps Nidus Worming here and then swaps down and just swamps this army on the south, he should be okay. So he sees the army coming and says, oh, fuck you. I'm going to just roll in further here and see what we can do. And, you know, he tries to kind of run up there and see if he can take advantage. Clearing out, yeah, these buildings actually kind of block him a little bit. That was really bad with the Ultras there. But he gets a really good trade with the Lings, doesn't he? Yeah, he pulls back on the top, says, wait a second, that's undefended Thors. That's a great trade. The Banelings aren't really needed, but the Lings do well. Keeps this base alive for now. How is he... Doesn't he get rid of this? Surely at this point, you'd think it's like basically checkmate. Right? Because now he can just shift back to the north side. Oh, this Ultra misses it. Oh, that Ultra misses the SCVs? Wait, no. He gets it. Yeah, fresh meals get fucked. How is he not able to clear this army, right? He's just slow on the Baneling morph. He's actually out of gas. So the Infestors just don't help here. He actually needed to stay on Ultra Baneling for a bit longer, funnily enough. If he made another 30 Banes and had them ready right now, I think he could crash into this army and keep denying these bases, right? But instead, he's not able to. And that's a good run by. Those ones should have continued into the main. And even if just a few got past, it would have been great. But he sends a lot of Lings off that don't do that much. He's got a decent pack of Banes, but not quite as many as he might want. He's denying the bases quite well, but this base got off in the midst of this. Inno's he's just re-expanding everywhere, being a bit of a dick, which is very nice. So Corruptors are coming out now just to deal with the libs. And the thing is, anytime you find yourself in a position where you're on mostly just Ultraling, Bane versus Mech, and like they manage to take a not awful engagement and get awkward, some great lib shots do go down on those Ultras, but still a fantastic engage. And if those Banes can just find the center of the Vikings and the Hellbats, like that's good trades. Pull back, pull back. Okay, so at this point, your opponent's managed to contain it. You've cleared that. You've got to go for I think you've got to go for the natural, right? Or this base. You've got to start clearing out there. What is he? There's got to be. I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, didn't Rogue... I guess he lost so many workers just then, and that was huge, actually. So a bit of a slow reaction here. And he doesn't really re-drone straight away. So his income takes a sharp dip at this point. And then he just runs out of cash. Which is crazy. Because he's got so many spines. He didn't have the spores completely well positioned. He didn't pull the drones quick enough. So losing those drones is really harsh. He needs that gas mining. He needs that gas to be mining, but it's taking forever to his new drones to rally over. And then if we look at it, Inno is so well prepared for multiple angles. He's like, okay, I got my rally here, tanks here, I got this army here, and then I guess this one engagement. It still could have gone either way, but this is that last engagement we were talking about where he kind of funnels into the choke. And this was where it did not work out 100% for Rogue. GG's. Personally, more of a fan of Vipers than Infestors. I think the Neural, though, especially defensively, let him push to you on creep a little bit. You're going to find a much better angle for it. So, yeah, well played. GG's. Let's go into game 2, shall we? Yeah, I know. I'm like, maybe he actually should have made more Banes and jumped on that. I know. That's crazy. Incredible play by Inno, though, guys. I'm so impressed with how Inno played that. No big, simple mistake from Rogue. But, yeah. Flanman, thanks so much for the 20-month resub. Can't wait for the round of 76 to start. Pulse Reaction with the 3-month resub. Much love, mate. Welcome back to the Pigsty. I really appreciate the support, guys. Hope you're enjoying these Katowice replays. Hey, guys. Was the stream title not correct? I thought I had edited it. I had edited it, right? Right? Let me know. What the fuck? Sorry, guys. Just tabbing in and out. Hopefully, I can get my scoreboard working. There we go. All right, straight into game 2. And, whoops. Up here in the top left-hand side, representing Jin Air Green Wings, it is Rogue. The 2017 World Champion. Semi-finalist in 2018 and top 8. It's top 8 where Classic eliminated him last year, 2019, I believe. Top 8 3 years in a row, including 1 championship, 1 top 4. Very good player, but it has been winning, then semi-final where he lost to Cyril, and then quarterfinals. Oof. Let's see if Rogue can get back to that peak level. Down here in the bottom right, a player with a ridiculous number of championships spanning many years. It is Innovation. Solid as a rock and about as much emotion as a stone as well, you know. One of the most unemotive players out there who just kind of blandly looks at the camera whilst being interviewed. There's a reason they call him the Machine. Losing, winning, he shows very little emotion either way. He likes to talk about how he is not an innovative player and just likes to repeat the same builds over and over. But holy shit, is he a man of dedication, focus, and intrigue. I'm a big Innovation fan. I do make fun of him. Solid as a rock and hard as a ... says Lucian. Indeed. Sushi Sparkle says that Rogue is the man who will never die to Blink DT again after being eliminated by Classic's Blink DT build order. He blinked his DTs into the main base, waited in the corner until it was off, until he had enough of them ready, and then he blinked onto the lair, sniped it, recalled the DTs. I think it was 7 DTs or some ridiculous, like it was such an awesome, silly build. It made me deeply happy. Made everyone deeply happy in that arena, screaming their heads off, going, oh my god, we're seeing disgusting cheese! Fear Dragon influenced the meta. Alright, so SCV is just kind of chilling, coming back. The Reaper's going to have a little poke. And let's see how this one goes. Now, much more likely to see Bio on this map, guys. Oh, gets one. The Queen says, leave. Oh my god, Rogue didn't go Creep Tumor first, guys. Oh my god. A top pro gamer who's actually delaying the first Creep Tumor over being able to drone a little bit more. That's fascinating. I still do that a lot, but I've actually been wanting to swap to the Creep because I feel like the faster Creep gives you a lovely head start. People in chat say, a pig, it was 9 DTs. Get it right. I'm sorry, guys. It was 9, apparently. Holy shit. Nasty way to lose, man. Rogue still has not put the tumor down. He's going to put it down all the way back there. Oh, come on. That's just paranoid. Oh, I guess he wants to connect the base. Oh, okay. Fair enough. There's a fly on top of my webcam. What the hell? Get out of here, you little shit. This is my show, not yours. Stop stealing my attention. Fucking Zerg players. Reaper comes in, just sees what looks like a normal base setup. Back at home, once again, a very quick 1-gas 3rd CC here for Inno. Tells me he may play the exact same opening, guys. So yeah, I think we're going to see an SCV go here and build a fusion core. He doesn't quite have the gas yet, but he will in a moment. Other side, just drones, drones, drones. Queens, queens, queens. 5th queen is there as well. And there it is. Fusion core goes down. 3rd gas is there. We're going to see a 4th gas drop momentarily. This is a sick build order. Now, you could technically still go bio off the back of this. I don't expect it. It looks so similar to the previous build order that I'm like, nah. 4th gas goes down. Viking and Marine clear that out. Sees a swap. Knows the starport's going on a tech lab. Rogue cancels what I believe was a roach farm. Actually, that was a baneling nest. Cancels a baneling nest and makes double evo chamber. After that, scout says, okay, I think I'm good to just go double upgrade, drone like a crazy person. The creep is now blossoming out. Viking's going to go hunt for some more overlords. Queens are well positioned though. That Viking, if it found that one, it would be great. Viking only getting 1 kill so far. Hellions just having a little bit of a dance around. Oh, ho, ho. He's like, ho, ho, ho. Good, just wanted to double check that you were indeed going BC. I see everything. Innovation's like, fuck you, man. Fuck you and your 25 mineral fastest unit in the game. Rogue says, mate, it's all skill. I'm better than you. Suck a fatty. Innovation says, I don't even know what that means. A fat what? And he says, a fatty. My name's Rogue. I'm badass. And I'm going to take a 4th base. Make 80 drones. And I think maybe do you think he'll try a timing attack? There was such early tanks last game. Maybe he'll play the exact same style. Will Rogue. I'm just wondering if he goes for the Corruptor Roach Bust. Because the 3rds really spread on this map. Big wide open area. Like, it's a good map to go for a bust on, right? And if you just played a game where your opponent literally weathered every single punch you could throw at him, I'm thinking Rogue. If I was Rogue, I would definitely have my eyes open for it. And if I see an opportunity, I'd pounce on it. Gases go down almost immediately at the 3rd. You can see very gas focused. Of course, just building Hellions, a BC. We'll see double tech lab go down. And then the double armory, I believe, is next, if I remember what happened in that last game. Hellions. Oh my god, Hellions are diving in, guys. They're actually... Oh, the BC is going on top. That's a lot. That was a 12 Hellion dive, I believe. Just non-stop Hellion production. And combined with the BC... Ooh! Yeah. Targets the high energy queen, so it couldn't even transfuse. That one... Oh, man. He's got to move that BC. He's got to finish off those low hit point queens. Missing out on it, but lots of drones are falling. The Ling's unable to deal with that. I would have loved to see that BC actually stay in there and go for 1 or 2 more queen kills, but as it is, a lovely, lovely attack here. Kills a lot of queens and a lot of drones, which are all going to have to be replaced. There is a 4th hatch up, so don't get me wrong, guys. Rogue can bounce back from this. He is now going to reassert map control with the Hellions. The BC going to go home for a bit of a repair. Yamato's on the way. 2nd BC is almost ready. Hellions microing their little hearts out. And Ling's going to try and split into both mineral lines. The Drilly boys may have to turn and fight here. That Hellion tries to buy him a few moments. Quick mineral walk, but yeah, Ling's doing a good job, dude. Oh man, that was a bit sloppy from Inno. He really should have stacked all those SCVs up and fought all at once or mineral walked away all at once. Should not have lost 12 SCVs there. I think he overestimated the Hellions and BC's ability to clear that many Lings. And that bit of damage there really equalizes. That's all Rogue needed, because now he's back up to 72. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm good. Spire's on the way. Macro Hatch is on the way. More Ling run by is getting set up. His creep spread's been perturbed quite a bit. But, it's never too late to go crazy on that. What do we got? Ling's going to come in there. That's not... Oh! It's just going to click on it. Yeah, that works. It's really nice. Anytime you interrupt a Terran building buildings, it's just fucking annoying. They got to not just replace the SCVs. In that case, the SCVs survived, so it wasn't as bad. They got to grab new SCVs. They got to rebuild the buildings. If you like pick off an SCV building a barracks or a command center, I feel like it's just twice as triggering as killing any other worker, W Yamato's going to go down up there. The tanks do cover that, but they do take out one of the building SCVs. So once again, Rogue just being annoying. These very cheap units, and oh my god, Big Dick Innovation says, get fucked, man. Unfortunately for him, The mutas come out just in time. Otherwise, that would have been really nasty there for Rogue. Now, he's going mutas, but he has to go really heavy mutas now, right? To make sure he can fight the BCs. I want to see a repair instantly on those BCs to make sure they can deal with this. We've got 2 Thors on the way. Now, is this Raynor? Is he going to go mutiling? He could go for a bust, I guess. Oh, he's just going to dive? No, there's no way that works. Look at the range on that Yamato. It just went like 2 screens. That's beautiful. That's so sick. I mean, okay, so you're on 85 workers. You're on Mutiling Bane. Remember, guys, Raynor said he thought he could beat any mech player with Mutiling Bane. Didn't even need to build Roaches or Hydras or anything. He was like, yeah. And then he played Marine Lord, a player who's arguably quite a bit below his level, while still a good player. And he got dicked. Like, Raynor got savagely, like, his innocence was taken away by Blue Flame and fucking tanks and Thors and just the general destruction of a mech player who knows he's playing against mutas and isn't caught off guard or surprised. The mutas, you know, they can create a little bit of chaos. They can force a bit more Thor production. Oh, no. Inno. Why your armory's here? Oh, no. He's going to lose his armor. It's definitely worth pulling the SCVs, I'd say. Oh, you can't lose it, though. You got to pull more. Oh no. Oh no. I think I can hear Innovation's thought process right now. He thought he was doing well.
Are we joking on this? Are we actually joking on this right here? Do you actually see this?
Oof. Oof. If there's one moment where you're gonna channel your inner Artosis, that is it, guys. That is it. Right there. Oh. Fucking, man, I was like, mutas, these aren't great. Unless they find some opening when there's no defense, so there's a really high value target, like your 2 upgrades, which your entire build relies upon. Oh, shit, that's rough, man. Now the Roaches and Ravages are out. Bane speed is not being made, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. I'd love to see that, but we were talking earlier about a Roach Corruptor timing. I mean, throw some mutas in. It's still a decent timing attack. I think if he's sieged and in the proper position, he can easily defend, but he's looking for a 4th, and Inno's like, scans, and he's like, yeah, we might chill on taking that 4th for a little bit. +1 does start up at the almost 11-minute mark. That's rough. Bane speed starting now. This is a little bit awkward now for Inno. He's had everything delayed. Now, I still have faith. Don't get me wrong. He can win from here. He's going to land that CC. It's like a semi-wall off. How many tanks we got in total? 6 tanks. I really want to see some tanks in production. Is he not building deeper? He's been supply blocked for a while. Inno is queuing up units, but he's supply blocked and he hasn't noticed. Inno is tilted as fuck, guys. Oh my god. He still hasn't started depots. Oh god, guys, tilt cam. We're on Inno's vision right now. He just started 4 depots. Oh my god. He's so fucking tilted.
StarCraft told me to go fuck myself. It's like, oh, you're gonna have fun today? You're gonna try hard today?
You're gonna qualify for IEM today? You're gonna qualify for IEM today? No, you're not. You're not. Oh man. By the way, guys, sorry I got the scoreboard wrong. Because I shifted their spots. So wait, no. Oh no, I had it right. I just accidentally flipped the scoreboard at some point. Oh, it was when I was zooming out. I accidentally pressed the wrong hotkey. Never mind. Let me move my keyboard into a better position so I don't do that again. Yeah, Inno's got to be a bit triggered by that, man. That was friggin' nasty, dude. That was pretty nice. Gung Fu, thank you so much for the 84 viewer raid. What's up, brother? Long time no see, dude. Man, I haven't seen Gung Fu in years. I haven't tuned into his stream. I know he's been streaming a bit recently and stuff. I hope you had a good stream. I hope you kicked some ass, man. Oh my god, he's just gonna go for it. Oh my god, channeling the spirit of Su. A full fucking YOLO, and man, that's it. You think a max mech army can't lose? Welcome to Nightshade, motherfucker. This is one of my favorite maps, but it is something where you've got to appreciate how wide open these spaces are, guys. So this looks like a great defensive position, but there is no walls. So first things first, these tanks are just too exposed, okay? The next thing is like, what do we have for buffer? If you have a few depots blocking up, you got an eBay or something, or a command center, anything to do that is going to be amazing. But remember, the tank count is just not that high. It's also the fact that, I mean, these skins, it's hard to see the tanks in here, right? That's like the problem with any skin pack. It's kind of hard to distinguish the units in the midst. Like, this all looks the same, right? It's not just me, yeah? But that tank is unsieged. Those 2 tanks, of course, just rallying out, aren't quite there yet. Everything's a little clumped up for the Banes as well. You want to actually be spread out a little bit more. And ideally, you'd have a tank behind the planetary as a fallback. Because if at a certain point you had a tank behind the planetary, like maybe a tank up there, so you just kind of have the ultimate staggered defense. Everything was just a little bit too clumped up, I guess. And he comes in with 31 Banes, 9 Ravages, 11 Roaches. It's not that big an army, you know. You think, oh, you'll survive this. But the turrets go down quickly enough. There's enough Mutas and Corruptors to overwhelm the BCs, despite the triple Yamato. That tank a little slow to siege up there. And he's able to bust through. An impressive hold, man. An impressive timing, I mean. An impressive break. And that's 1-1. Very well done, of course, with the upgrades. +1 just kicked in during that fight. Up against 1-1-2 upgrades. So that's another big part of why that worked out so well. GG's. Let's go to game 3. All right. Segmentation fault core dumped. I love how every time Inno starts to tilt or like play a bit bad, everyone's like, syntax error, malfunction. Everyone is always just making these dumb robot jokes. It's always good. But yeah, I hope Gung Fu had a good one. Is Gung Fu competing at Katowice, guys? I feel like I saw him in the bracket, but I've been looking at so many brackets for random online tournaments recently. So I'm not really sure where I've seen his name, but I feel like he's in the open bracket, right? He is coming down to it. Awesome. That should be great to see. It's one of those weird Protoss players who's always played his own style and plays very different, but is very powerful, man. All right, guys, game 3 down here in the bottom right, representing Jin Air Greenwings. He is Rogue, which is actually one of the best names out of most pro gamers, right? Dark, Rogue, like these are good names. Up here in the top left, in the blue, it's Innovation. It's Drilly Boy just working away. Drill, 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 zappy, zap, zap. Drill, 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 zap, 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 zap. The life of an SCV must be interesting. I think the best part must be PvT. You're just like, you literally slave over building this fucking gigantic base, all these depots, wall-offs, command centers, factories, and they're like, okay, now it's time to charge. You're a melee unit now. And you're like, what? I did my fucking part. Dude, I built the home front. And Terran's like, nope, you're also a melee warrior / tank. And you're like, oh, okay, fuck you. Being a drilly boy has got to suck. Oh, well. Rough times. Hatch gas pool, standard opening for Rogue. You can see both overlords are searching for barracks. They're kind of checking these areas, making sure there's no proxy marines or anything coming in. And just kind of bouncing around, standard opening. That Reaper coming out here. Is there any history of the SCV pool? Who was the first one? I mean, it's been... You have to go back to the beginning of Brood War, Flexible, right? I'm sure someone just pulled their workers and went. But if you want to look at StarCraft 2, there's a guy called Bit by Bit Prime who is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Every game, he'd just like pull all of his workers with a push. Just all in with it. And what's so magical is obviously this is all commentated in GSL by Artosis. And you know what that means, right? You can hear the venom in Artosis' voice. Well, not the venom. It's not venom. The disrespect for the utter stupidity that he's witnessing, I guess. Artosis is like, oh, cool. He's going to pull the boys again. Wow. Genius move. Like, this guy's really smart. Like, because there's times where he'd do it in the worst possible scenario to do it, you know? Like so Artosis would just like be like, well, guess he's doing it again, even though it's the wrong time to pull the boys. It's like, he's going to pull it into Storm and Colossus. Okay. I don't know if this helps. Good times. Obviously, Artosis being a pro Zerg player way back then as well. So, you know, he was still very competitive back then. Still obviously is very competitive with Brood War these days and likes to still go to tournaments and train and stuff and, you know, ignite that passion for the game. But there's just something special whenever you hear Artosis casting someone whose critical thought process seems to be do something aggressive and hope it works every game. You know, The latter days of casting Marine King Prime was like 3cc with no units or proxy barracks all in. There was like nothing in between. There was always one or the other. Good times. Yeah, Tosis was Zerg in the start of StarCraft 2, guys. Then he swapped to Protoss. Apparently Gung Fu did forfeit. He was in the bracket, but apparently he's been replaced by Bly. No worries. Yeah, if you guys want to watch like really low-level StarCraft, like if you guys like the Florencio files, but you want to see people who are legit pro gamers basically playing at his level, go watch the early seasons of StarCraft 2. It's a bit special, man. It's like early GSL open seasons and shit, and people are just trying to figure out the game. It's so new, right? It's like tennis just got invented and people are barely figuring out how to hit the ball over the net. It's like, it's just funny, man. Don't get me wrong. Those players were picking things up infinitely faster than I would, way more talented, way smarter than me. And a lot of them had depths of RTS experience, which they all applied in different ways. And it's not that bad. It was also a slower, different game, so it looks a bit funny when you watch it in the perspective of the faster, more action-packed Legacy of the Void. But it definitely is, that there's players who were sneaking deep in these brackets just off really cheesy and not particularly intelligent plays. Guys, this is the concussive Marauder build. How much did Jin Rogue scout here? Not that much. That Zergling, I don't know if it's scouted. Does he know this is coming? Roachborn, he needs to immediately build roaches. He's supply blocked and he's building drones. Oh my god. Okay, every best of 5 as a Terran player, if you don't pull this out in a tournament, you're an idiot. And you're letting, if your opponent's like a standard macro Zerg like Rogue is, this is the best build to pull out once in a while. Guys, that is 10 Hellbats, 3 Marauders with concussive, and a Marine. The Viking lifts to kill the Overlord. That Viking normally lands with this. I think it is going to queue to land up in the fight. Marauders drop out. They're going to try and get concussives on those Queens. The medevac does boost back a little bit. Oh man, the Hellbat's doing some big damage. That's a shit ton of Queens. 10 Roaches, already a Roach popping out. The Spine's on the way. I think he's got enough. Rogue with a beautiful concave. Notice he's pulling back the weak Queens. He's dropping Band-Aids. So many transfused Band-Aids landing across this. And Rogue with the perfect arc, pulling back weak units individually, popping out as many roaches as he could, even threw down that Spine for safety, which he even had the presence of mind to cancel once he realized he held a perfect hold from Rogue. And maybe you've just lost the game now, It's not that bad. He did trade equally, but what's the follow-up? Okay, so he's still got the Viking. I actually really like a Marauder drop, to be honest. He's going to go... So... The Marauders see the Roaches and are like, fuck! Double bunker, mate. I think you got to double bunker that. At least one bunker right now. The Hellion drop's going to do good counter damage. Does he actually just trust that to defend? Oh, he's got a Banshee almost out. Big balls. Innovation has large balls, bigger than mine. I would have pussied out and built a bunker or two. He knows with 4 Marauders and a Banshee, he'll be fine. He knows his timings. The Roaches also know that that's not a good idea. Viking barely misses the Overseer. Hellions do dive in. The medevac has to leave immediately. Not as many drones on this base as he'd like to find. Does get a few stacks, but goes to the natural and gets caught. The medevac can come back in, but he's not actually going to be able to do it. And as that red hit point, Hellion goes down. He no longer can one-shot. Really fantastic hold. Loses mining time, loses 6 drones. At the end of it, though, 48 SCVs versus 64 drones. Innovation is trailing in this game. The Overseer scouts mech immediately. Rogue has got the Spire finish to deal with the Banshees. He's got Roach speed on the way. Now, he doesn't have Evos. He doesn't have a 4th. Does he need it, is my question. Because there is no way Innovation can hold on to a 3rd base. Like, there is just absolutely no way. It's going to be Muta Roach. He's trying to go Banshee speed behind this. Innovation, of course, is thinking further ahead. He's thinking about how can I put the pressure on you and stop you getting to 90 drones. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Mutas are going to come across. The scan barely misses the Mutas popping out. Hellions are going to run in the back of the 3rd and look for some damage, but Roaches are on top of it. Roach speed's almost done. He does see the Mutas, which is very important, but eBay is not ready. His Thors start up immediately, cancels the other units, but they're not going to be out in time. And I think just throw Roaches across the map behind this would be a great way to just deny Inno's 3rd. And a 2-base mech player is not so scary. No turret for you? Yeah. Oh. What's that smell? Ugh. Oh no, I think Innovation can smell gooch. He can smell the taint of Rogue slowly being lowered towards his face. Rogue's like, smell it. Have a whiff, buddy. Ha ha! Innovation's like, fucking Zerg, man. Fuck this shit. I like to imagine, like, the guy who shows no emotion. But let's be real. If you've ever watched an Innovation interview, he has some interesting thoughts on balance. Basically, every other race is fucking bullshit. And he will go on about it at length. So, you know what? I don't think I'm putting words in his mouth. I think he does think Rogue's a dick and plays the easy race. The Thors and Hellbats come down. The Roaches run forward. The Mutas, which were going home to chase the Banshees, come back to the front. And that's that. I mean, it's a lovely timing attack. I think he did hit a slightly later version of it than what I've seen from some players. Like, I feel like I've seen TY hit this a little bit faster and earlier. And, you know, if the Roaches weren't out, that could have been it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 5 active creep tumors, which is a lot of energy that didn't go into transfuse. So there's a few reasons why, if Innovation, maybe he screwed up this build. If he hits 10 seconds earlier here, he wins this game. Now, why is that? Because first of all, the Roaches, maybe not wins, but does way more damage. The Roaches are 10 seconds later, which means you get to fight the Queens with just a few lings on their own. That's good. Not just that, guys. He's only going to have 1 transfuse. This 47 energy queen, this 45 energy queen, and this 47 energy queen do not get transfuses. Because Rogue has actually been greedy with the amount of creep tumors he's put down. If you want to be really safe with your queen defense, you should only put down 3 or at most 4 creep tumors. He put down 5, which means a lot of these 25, 30 energy queens don't have transfuse. And if it was 10 seconds earlier, these guys are at 35 energy. They're not going to get transfused until they're dead. But look at this fantastic control from Rogue. So he's going to start pulling these queens back in an arc. And what happens is you pull back in that arc is the Hellbats have to spread out, but also the things they're attacking get more spread out, which means the Hellbats, which do a small cone of damage, are only hitting 1 or at most 2 queens. So basically you're lowering their damage output. You're spreading their damage across more targets rather than, say, being 1 queen up front getting focused. And you're allowing more time for your transfuses to take effect. So transfuse, does lose 1 queen there before the transfuse, another transfuse, and it's like pull back, and look at that. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I think 10 seconds would have changed things, but GG, well played. A fantastic hold from Rogue, and nicely done. Takes the 2-1, goes to the winners grand finals. My man. Yeah, people often say I can't defend with queens against X or Y, and I always go, number 1, do you have the queens early enough so they actually have enough transfuse? Number 2, did you, when you realized how much trouble you were in, like you see Hellbats morphing, did you pull every queen from every base? And number 3, how much creep tumors did you put down? Because if you've gone and spent all your energy on tumors, you don't got those injects, yeah, you might be fucked, boy. So that happens. GG, well played. Let's go into the next series.